Yeah. Yeah. Now you've become experts at laughing at me.
Hey, folks, welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa. And this is a little assessment after the recent release of the Special Investigative Unit's report on the Digital Vibes contract and the purported corruption of members of South Africa's Department of Health, which includes the resignation back in August of the Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, who resigned over allegations that he profited from a corrupt tender for a it appears to be fictitious or non-functioning company called Digital Vibes, which a key ally of his was actually an owner in.
The future of this country is intricately linked with the unity and the renewal of the African National Congress.
The future of this country is the ANC? God forbid. 27 years of ineptitude, pervasive corruption, incompetence, racialization of society, pilfering of state coffers, directing contracts to nouveau riche. South Africa can't afford another 27 years of this feckless RICO operation masquerading as a political party, stealing and plundering from South Africans. If the future of South Africa is the ANC, the future, my friends, is bleak indeed.
They want the ANC to correct its mistakes and once again to selflessly serve all the people of South Africa.
Well, the Special Investigative Unit released a report on Wednesday, which found that Dr. Zweli Mkhize's conduct in manipulating tender processes toward the 150 million rand contract was, at best, improper, at worst, unlawful. Now, they looked into this and they said that he had a distinct lack of oversight over this contract that works out to about 10 million US dollars. Money from this deal with Digital Vibes bought his son a car, and he also received around 20,000 US dollars. A couple months ago, it emerged that Dr. Mkhize also got some money from that contract and that it paid for repairs to his private residence. Not guilty. He pleads his innocence. He denies any wrongdoing even to this day, despite the Special Investigative Unit's report, which says that his conduct at best was improper, at worst, it was clearly unlawful. Now, the Special Investigative Unit has recommended laying criminal charges against the current health director, Dr. Sandile Buthelezi, and the former acting director general, Dr. Anban Pillay. But strangely, for Zweli Mkhize, still a member of parliament in South Africa, despite resignation from the cabinet, they only recommended executive action against him. Now, this is as a result of the department incurring irregular and fruitless expenditure for which Digital Vibes owners Tahera, Mitha, and Naadhira, Mitha, should be charged for fraud, according to the Special Investigative Unit. Mitha is Mkhize's former spokesperson. He played a key role in Zweli Mkhize's campaign for the presidency of the African National Congress back in late 2017, a campaign that he eventually abandoned, and it came down to a contest between Nkosazana Zuma, the former spouse of convicted contempt of court criminal President Jacob Zuma, former President Jacob Zuma, and the former chair of the African Union Commission. Now, here's the thing. At the ANC's manifesto launch on the 27th September, just 3 days ago, and just before the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, released this report from the Special Investigative Unit, he said many, many things. Talked about people want politicians to put service above self, country before personal self-aggrandizement. Now, this sounds quite bizarre. Listen to the tepid response through some of these clips when Ramaphosa talks about correcting things or going after people who've been corrupt.
Our people have been calling for strong leaders who put the interests and the needs of our people first. Leaders who are not corrupt, leaders who will not divert money that is meant for service delivery into their own pockets.
Now, the ANC suddenly admits mistakes and that people want them to put things right for the mistakes that they've made in the past. Actually, I think people want the ANC to just fotsek and get out, leave, exit the building. Your 27 years have been an exercise in misery and people mired in poverty.
We have not always put the best people in positions of responsibility in government.
Cyril Ramaphosa at his manifesto launch says that we haven't always picked the right people. You think? Wherever he goes, people want the ANC united. No, once again, people want the ANC gone.
And people want, wherever I've gone throughout the country, they want a united, renewed, and revitalized African National Congress.
And finally, the broken, empty promises from Cyril Ramaphosa. We pledge. Your pledge is worthless. Your word has no merit, no value to it whatsoever.
We pledge to you, the people of South Africa, that we will do better, much better than we have done in the past.
In a press conference after release of the SIU report, President Ramaphosa had the following to say about Zweli Mkhize. Much as we want to be gung-ho and send people to the gallows, we do need to also recognize some of the things that he has done. I think many people remember how he really served the nation at the beginning of the pandemic. He was the sole voice of the pandemic. We were able to navigate our way around the pandemic because of his experience and having also served in other positions. Excuse me? So all is forgiven because he was appointed to a position which he used for personal gain? That's nonsensical. Zweli Mkhize abused his office in a contract dating back to 2019. There was no Rona in 2019. He was already pilfering in 2019 and continued when the contract was amended to cover the Rona pandemic. People remember he served the nation at the beginning. How did he serve the nation? In what fashion, in what function, other than self-enrichment? The sole voice of the pandemic? No, he wasn't. What voice was he? We didn't hear from him. We heard from the Minister of Transport far more often than we heard from Zweli Mkhize. We heard from Cyril Ramaphosa almost exclusively during the pandemic. Almost never hearing from Zweli Mkhize or Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. The sole voice of the pandemic? That's ludicrous. Able to navigate around the pandemic? Are you serious? 3 million jobs lost, tens of thousands of businesses crushed. The restaurant, the tourism, the hospitality sectors virtually destroyed in South Africa. Racist programs implemented to deny South Africans tourism relief funds. Navigate. You've destroyed the country. You've bifurcated it again and again with your endless racial narrative. And then when you fail to do anything to fix the pandemic, you blame other people. If it's not Jan van Riebeck, if it's not apartheid, it's vaccine apartheid from the rich, wealthy nations who, by the way, actually developed the vaccine while your pharmaceutical industry sat around the sidelines and did jack squat. Shocking. What exactly did Zweli Mkhize do other than enrich himself? I don't want to hear about pandemic of HIV in KwaZulu-Natal when Thabo Mbeki was delusional about this. I don't want to hear about anything else he's done. He was charged as Minister of Health. You yourself, Sir Ramaphosa, claimed that this is the most serious pandemic healthcare concern to face South Africa in a century. Then why are you putting a stealing person at the front and claiming that he has resigned? We have to recognize that he has resigned. That's punishment enough? Appointed to a position, you steal from the people in the largest healthcare crisis in a century. By your own words, Cyril Ramaphosa, by your own words in your party manifesto, you will deal with corruption. You are serious about corruption. No, you're not. Your party is a bunch of grifters.
Yes, too often we have been slow to act when our public representatives and leaders committed wrongdoing, when they have abused their positions.
He got caught. You forced him to resign. No criminal charges are pending. He remains a member of parliament and draws a salary. Meanwhile, how many people died needlessly because of the theft going on at the Ministry or Department of Health? And how much more corruption is there that we've yet to hear about? Now, this is the icing on the cake. Cyril Ramaphosa said that the release of the Digital Vibes report would not affect the ANC negatively. It proved the ANC has committed itself to root out corruption. What? The key architect, the key person responsible for this person asleep at the wheel or complicit in the criminal action was the Minister of Health. He hasn't even got a smack on the hand. So he lost his position as Minister of Health. But here's the real story. And this is a self-inflicted wound. Zweli Mkhize, who was a practicing medical doctor during the apartheid era, who went to medical school in South Africa during the apartheid era and became a medical doctor in practice, has a long history and has done many good things in the past. He had ambitions to be president. Those days are gone. Your ambitions are over, sir. But Cyril Ramaphosa continues to hoodwink the rubes who will vote for the ANC, claiming that the ANC is serious about corruption. This guy has been saying this since he took over in early 2018. It's been 3 years. Please cite for me the senior leaders of the ANC who've been implicating corruption, who've been charged, convicted, and sent to prison. I'm sorry, are those crickets that we hear in the background? I think I hear crickets chirping. None. Ace Magashule, former Secretary General of the ANC, suspended. He hasn't even resigned. Still drawing a salary. Former Durban mayor leaves Durban, and then the ANC appoints her to the provincial parliament. When there's an uproar about it, because they try to do it underhanded, people scream about it, she's suspended, pending an investigation, which has now been months, and nothing has come from it, drawing a salary the whole time. The ANC doesn't care about corruption. The ANC is corruption itself manifest. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa has a chance. Kenako, in the words of Setswana, it's time. It is time, South Africa, to bounce this party, which cares not about white, brown, or black South Africans. If you think they care about you and you're one of those groups, you're delusional. They care only about their privilege, their salaries, their blue light escorts, and their leafy homes in the suburbs of Johannesburg, Pretoria, and Cape Town. And that's what it's all about, while blaming other people for their failures. What a disgrace to the liberation struggle this party is. What an absolute disgrace it is. Well, folks, if you're not a subscriber to Chris Wyatt Africa, smash that button right down there and become a subscriber. Appreciate your support for the channel, where you get objective, independent analysis on Africa with a special focus on Southern Africa and especially on South Africa. And of course, the key actors who play a role in Africa, the United States, People's Republic of China, and countries from the European Union. Take care, folks. God bless.